give me a notice in the presenter chat. Make sure we are okay. And let me know, and we'll get rolling here this morning. So good morning, everybody. We're going to get rolling here in a second. I'll be back in 1 second, and we'll get started here this morning. Gerald, give me a few minutes here, and I'll pop back on. 1 sec, guys. Let me make sure. I want to record this so you guys can replay it. All right. Let's go ahead and lead into the video. So good morning, everybody. Let's take a look at the system, go over exactly how we want to trade it. Let's look at the entire session, the last few days, and go over the basics of the system, and then show you the upgrade we did with the automated indicator and automated algorithm. So let's just take a look at the entire session yesterday first, and then we'll get into today's session. Today's session, we're setting up for a buy right now at below 64.31. So let's look at yesterday. I want to go over what we can see in the trading room that runs 24 hours a day. We open the trading room up at Sunday night at 6 p.m. It's viewable until Friday at 5 p.m. And we run it 24 hours a day, so you can view this one basic chart to look for buys and sells with overall trend direction. So let's break the system down first. First of all, we want to get the trend right. That's the first thing we want to do. We want to look at our 30-year backtested trend. So we have a trend indicator that is, if you see, it's dark green and then dark red. If it's red, we're looking to short. There's multiple filters into this trend filter that we use, and we want to get on the right side of the market. So we don't want to counter trend trade the market. So we want to get the trend right first of all. Now this is with our automated algorithm also. It will not counter trend trade. It will only take trades, retracements with trend. So the idea is we want to find out what the overall trend of the market is first. Find out what the trend is. And we're going to buy and sell retracements, or what I call liquidity grab pullbacks, where the market likes to pull back against the overall trend and get into these buy and sell zones. Or these are called liquidity grab zones, where the counter trend traders get taken out of the market and we look for continuations. So the trend is very simple. The trend for us will be based upon, you look at these parallel lines. If they are red, this is a red sell zone. If it's red, we're shorting only. If it's green, our trend filter, then we're going to buy only. This is back tested 30 plus years as the best zone to reverse price on the S&P. And so if you look at yesterday's price action, for the entire session from midnight all the way to the close, from midnight to midnight, you can see we had one buy setup. So our sell setup, actually two sell setups, I'm sorry, in the session. Typically, a lot of your trades will happen if you're a European trader right around the London Open at 3 a.m. in the morning. If you are a New York trader, they happen right after the New York Open, all the way into the close. So from the 9:30 to 4 o'clock, you're going to get these setups. So where are these zones and how can we buy and sell these zones? So we want to get the trend right first. So if we are red, if our automated algorithm is red, we're looking to sell. If it's green, we're looking to buy retracements. You see these dashed levels. These dashed levels are zones. These zones are where we want price to get up to at these zones or inside these zones, and then we want a reversal candle to happen. Now, this will be in the automated strategy also. It will only take trades with trend. So a sell zone is categorized as the market moves down in between these zones. So here is a zone. This is a very leading indicator. This does not repaint, so you know exactly where you're looking to sell the market or buy the market. So as the market got down on this level, it started retracing back. You don't have a sell signal until you get into a zone. So this would be called a sell zone yesterday. And I'll show you a buy zone in a second. And then we'll move on to the automated algorithm. So you got to understand why the automated algorithm's doing what it's doing first. And I'll show you exactly why here in a second. But this is a sell zone. So once you get into that sell zone, now you're looking for a reversal in price to give confirmation that you have caught the wrongly positioned traders. The market has pulled back to look for order blocks, sell order blocks, and you're looking for these counter trend traders to get taken out of the market. So we want the market to essentially turn green when this is red. We want green candles to set up the short for continuation. So yesterday at the close of that candle, it was 64.21, got as low as 64.08. Typically, when you get into a sell zone, you're looking for a run of right around 10 points on a move on the S&P when you use a 1-1-35 chart. Now, here's our standard chart we use. We use a Unirenko chart. We use a 1-1-35 tick reversal. I'm also educating traders use a 1-1-12 for smaller stops. You can see a lot of traders use that in the room. They use the 1-1-35 and the 1-1-12 for entries into these zones. So this does not repaint. So you got your zones that don't repaint. They're static. So you're looking for a price to go at this zone or inside of this zone, and then you need a reversal candle. Once you get the reversal candle, this is the 35 tick reversal candle. You can make that a 12 tick reversal candle if you want, or customize it how you like it on the algo. But that is your reversal candle indicating that you get a possible continuation or move down the market, and it moved over 12 points on that push down. All right, so that's your entry into a sell zone. All right, so that's our standard sell zone. What we have, the strategy, what it will do is it will look at my 30-year back tested zone, and it's got to be at or inside that zone for a short. If it's red, it's going to short. If it's green, if it's going to buy. So you can see my parallel trend zone right here, price got at that zone. So it's going to short that first close of that candle, whatever wrinkle size you use. So if you use a 1-1-12, it's going to short right when that 12 closes at 12 ticks at that zone. So this is called a shallow liquidity grab. So shallow liquidity grab is here. I call it SLG, but you can see that's another entry point yesterday. So this is a deeper liquidity grab, the sell zone, because you see my dash levels that come up, and this is my shallow liquidity grab, but here's the entry also. So it was 2 for 2 yesterday in the whole trading session. The algo is 2 for 2 on predicting the reversal inside of the sell zone, catching the wrongly positioned traders. One was a shallow liquidity grab inside my trend zone, and one was in a deeper zone. So this is called a sell zone also, because it's actually inside of my 30-year back tested zone. Now, what you can't do if you're manually trying to trade this on Chart Trader, or if you're just trying to visually see this as you view the system during the week, price has to, first of all, go with the trend. So if the trend is red, there's not going to be any buys. You have no buys at all. If the trend is green, then it's got to reverse inside the trend zone here. It's got to reverse inside the trend zone. It did not. So if it keeps going, I call it the line in the sand. That is below the low of that trend zone right here. This is a line in the sand. So line in the sand on this buy setup was 60.40, 336 and a quarter. You know exactly the line in the sand to the exact tick. Same thing on the sell zone here. You cannot close one candle outside of this trend zone. So the line in the sand was 64.38. It could not close when it's retracing outside of this line in the sand right there, 64.38. That's why we have these trend zones. These sell zones. They are very precise. They're very, very accurate. So if price kept going and was green, 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 and closed one candle outside the top of that zone, then you do not have a sell setup. Okay. Very. All right. So as we move to these zones, it's got to be at the zone. The same thing with my zone here. You do not want to close outside of the zone. You want a reversal inside of that zone, and you want to close with a reversal candle. So yesterday, if you notice, we've had two sell setups. And I'll go the day before and we'll look at it. But so this potential on the first trade was 25 short, got as and it got as low as 16. So that got as low as 16. So that was 25 short. And that it was low as 16. 1 second. I got to take my son real quick. I'll be back in 1 second, guys. All right. Sorry about that. So if we look at the if we look at yesterday, it reversed inside zone 25, got as low as what, 16, almost 10 points there. And then it got into the sell zone yesterday, 21, down potential down to 08. So that's what you do. You look at the trend first, and then second, where is the sell zone or buy zone? The buy and sell zones with trend. And then thirdly, you need a pulling candle. Don't make it any more difficult than that. Now your stop is going to be based upon what Renko size you use. Let me get this here real quick. So traders, if you use a 1-1-12 chart and you do a 4 to 8, a 1 point and 2 point stop, you're typically out of the trade before the 35 kicks in, 1-1-35, because it's a longer Renko candle. So some traders like to have 1 and 2 points off and let it break even before it even gets rolling. So you guys can dictate which one. Sorry, get this. You guys can dictate which Renko size you want to use based on the stop you want to use. All right, so first we look for trend. Then we look for where are the buy and sell zones with trend. And then we look for a pulling candle. All right, now I'm going to show you the upgrade we did. So that's our basic entry setup. All right, so that's our basic entry setup, how we do it. We had 2 trades yesterday. So if we look at today's trading, where would be our buy setup? Well, we're green right now, right? Our 30-year back tested zone is green. So right now, trading live. There's our buy setup. We're looking inside of the zone. It cannot break the line in the sand. The line in the sand is at the bottom end of the zone. So line in the sand in this market this morning right now until it prints another one is 22.5. $64.22.5. All right, so that's a line in the sand that it cannot break. If it breaks that, then we do not have a buy setup. Okay, so if I go back and let's look at buy setups now. So if I look at the buy setups, then it's going to be just the opposite. The opposite will be if I'm green, my trend zone is green, then I want to look for the buy zone. The line in the sand now is the low of that zone. Here's a line in the sand. You don't want to break. And then you got your pulling candles here as a reversal candle. You must see a reversal candle. This was into the close. Your reversal candles would be like that. All right, very, very simple. When you come into these buy and sell zones. So this is caught a huge one at 8:36 in the morning. This is a real big trade. You can see we're green, 30-year back test zone. Extend your zone out. So once it gets inside that zone, that's our standard way how we look to trade the market. Because what we're doing is, the whole idea is, we want the counter trend traders to pull this back into this deep liquidity pool, deep liquidity grab. This happened to be the session low. We had one buy set up. It happened at 8:36. It was at 64.10, and it rallied all the way to 64.31. It rallied 20 S&P points from our buy zone. You'll notice that our 30-year backtested zone, we have it programmed where it doesn't trend change a lot. Now, if you want more setups into these buy and sell zones, you can lower the trend filter to customize it to your liking. But we typically don't want a lot of trades during the session. We want 1, 2, 3, 4 trades during the session, and that's enough. We're looking for runners. We're looking for a 10, 12-point move when these trades fire off into these zones. So you can see that you are trending up on all these. Start trending up, and you got the reversal, and then we got a push in the market. Okay. So that's what we try to do. You can see that we're looking to buy the pullbacks. Buy the pullbacks. Here's another buy zone right there. Buy the pullbacks. They love to reverse inside these zones. The pullback buy. And they would like to sell the pullbacks. Sell the retracements. Let the counter trend traders push the market in one direction. We're going to wait and let it settle inside the zone, get a confirmation of a reversal inside the zone. So that's a standard way how to do it. Trend, find the trend, where the sell and buy zones. Then we got to pull. We need a pulling candle for confirmation that we are looking for a reversal. Okay? Looking for a reversal. All right, are we all good to go? Give me a Y, guys, if you understand that. We'll move on to the strategy and move on to the indicator that prints the arrows. Now let me show you the upgrade on what we're doing. Everybody good? Hey, George. Everybody good? Everybody understand what's going on? We're looking to buy and sell zone with trend. Give me a Y if we are on the same page. Very simple. We're looking to buy and sell deep and shallow liquidity grabs with trend. Not hard to understand. All right, so now that we know the sweet spot in the market where the market should reverse, so sort of the sweet spot in the market where it should reverse, here's one coming up today. Let's take a look how we can look to use automation with this also. So this is our standard. So this is our standard, what's called 25 zone with trend. It's a standard chart. These are 25 zones. This is our what I call the symmetry algo zones. This is our proprietary zones we have. We can adjust these zones to deeper liquidity grabs also. What does that mean? It means we can adjust these to look for deeper liquidity grabs for possible runs in the market. So what happens is if you looked at my videos before in the past, you'll see that if you want to trade additional zones, we do have additional deeper zones that you can trade off of if you wanted to. So this is our standard zone. You can just trade off our 25 zone with overall trend direction, and that's it. I mean, you can just do that by itself, and you're going to pick up a lot of trades with overall trend direction. What happens with the market sometimes is we get into a deeper pullback into deeper zones. And that's why we have this chart up here to the far left. It just has deeper zones built in. We give those to members if they want additional zones to trade when they're on top of each other for confluence. So in other words, if the market pulls back down to 85 to 89, we're looking for a major reversal off of this big, deep pullback. If price gets inside of this level, this is a deep liquidity grab, you treat it the same way. We're looking for a big move outside of that zone. So that's something we have additional zones for members if you want to do it. You don't have to do it. These will give you the majority of zones, the 25 zones with trend. But we do have deeper zone options. I do have a couple that I do give you that works with the system that if you did want to get into these deeper zones, we do have it in the upper left-hand corner. It's got to get into that zone in reverse. It cannot break the bottom end of the zone, just like we're doing here this morning. Okay? So let's move on to automated trading. So what we have is that if I skinny this down and look at this, some trades, and I'm gonna let this thing run for you guys inside of the room. There's zones. We know that if it's a green zone, we're looking to buy. If it's a red zone, we're looking to sell. What I did is I built a combination of zones that will be with the overall trend of the market. So in other words, if you can see that we've been green all the way up since the 23rd, and it's only taken buy setups, buy setup, buy setup, buy setup, buy setup, buy setup, buy setup, and then yesterday was a buy setup also. We're looking for the same type of reaction. You can tell that we got into these buy zones. Now this has a trailing stop built in where you can have a trailing stop built in. You can tell it got into the buy zone. It's either going to get a buy inside of the zone here or the buy zone inside of my 25 zone or whatever zone you put. Now I pre-programmed the deep zone for you guys, which I'll show you. And this is more of our standard zone we like to use. So I have two zones I really like to use. I like to use the more shallow zone, which is our standard 25 zone. And then I like to use our deeper pullback zone. These are deep pullbacks looking for big moves. This is a deep pullback trading system right here that we're looking for a deep pullback. So tomorrow, I want to make sure everybody knows that we're going to do a market replay tomorrow on this. So market replay will be here tomorrow. We'll start off around 8:15, and I'll market replay this for the past 30 days to show you how it works. So it's still, but I want to do this video today to show you the basics on how to use the system. So to get your mind right, it's very simple. If my 30-year back tested zone's green, it's only going to look for buys inside the buy zones. If my 30-year back tested zone is red, it's only going to sell the 30-year back tested sell zones. Don't make it any more difficult than that. If it's green, it's going to buy. If it's red, it's going to sell. Okay, so what it will like to do then, it will wait until we get at least inside. It will not take any shallow retracements outside of my zone. In other words, anything above my zone here, anything above my 30-year back tested zone is not going to take. It avoids taking shallow retracements. So anything above that zone here, it's not going to take any of these shallow retracements. It's going to wait till I get inside or into my deeper zones before it will take a trade. It's got to get a liquidity grab. It's got to pull back into a deep liquidity grab. It's got to pull back into this liquidity grab. It won't take any trades that's shallow up here. Okay, it's only going to take trades inside of my buy zones or sell zones, and it's only going to be a trend. So here was a buy zone. You can see when it's already in a trade, it has a trailing stop loss. You can change, build in, but you can see a yellow trigger candle came in. The other thing you do, it has an alert system. Let's say you don't want to use this as a strategy. You want to use this as an indicator. Let me blow this up. What it will do, okay, you're inside of a buy zone here. You can set up as an indicator only. There's my buy zone. what you can do is you can use it to fire an arrow. This arrow will automatically come in when this reversal candle comes in and turns yellow. So these reversal candles, you can see when they turn yellow, an arrow comes in when it's a qualified trade. If you turn your speakers on, you'll get an alert on your speakers. Your speakers will alert you when you're in a liquidity grab zone and you got pulled in. Not only will alert you you're in a liquidity grab zone, it will let you know that you got a confirmation that it is a possible trade setup. If you notice when this algorithm is getting filled, it's getting filled right at the close of that candle. So if I use a 1/112 to entry, it's going to fill right at the 12 tick close. If I use a 1/135, it's going to start filling immediately at the 35 tick close outside the zone. If I use a 1/120, it's going to fill 20 ticks outside of the zone, etc., etc. But the one thing that you'll notice is the indicator and strategy does the same exact thing. The upgrade is this. The upgrade is that you're going to get an arrow that prints if you just use an indicator, and a yellow candle is going to print. Your trigger candle is going to print. The trigger candle is your entry. Does everybody understand that? Give me a Y. The yellow trigger candle is your entry with the arrow, and it can be an alert system. You can set up as an alert on your system. Everybody on the same page with that? The trigger candle is the reversal candle. That's the reversal candle out when it comes down to the zone. It will turn a yellow trigger. It'll turn yellow, and it'll turn with an arrow. So you don't have to use the automated strategy if you don't want for an automated entry, but you can elect to do so. Okay? So tomorrow when I run through market replay, I'm going to show you the difference between different size candles on entries into these zones. Because if you look, this is a buy zone. There's your buy zone. Yellow trigger candle. Turn your speakers on. It will alert you on your speakers that you not only have reached a zone on a liquidity grab zone, it tells you that you have a pulling candle. So these are all buy setups. Okay. So then now you can adjust your trailing stop loss too. So if you want a tight trailing stop loss, you can adjust your trail on your stop loss, and you can adjust it. This goes up to 4 contracts. If you do micros, it's 1/10 of the big contract. You all can go all the way down to 1 contract. So let's say I want to do just 1 contract. I can come in. I can do 1 contract by changing entries per direction. Let's say I just want to go 1,000 ticks. I have 15 ticks in there right now as my target. Let's go 1,000 ticks in 1 contract. Then wherever your stop's going to be your trail. So it's going to stop you out based upon your trail. Wherever your trail is. So I can tighten the trail. Let's say I want to tighten this trail. I can tighten the trail too by going in and tighten my trail. I can tighten it per contract. So if I do 4 contracts, I can have a different trail. I can tighten my trail all the way down to whatever I want on all 4 contracts, and that'll be my new stop. Once it touches that trail, it's going to stop you out. So once it touches the trail, it's going to stop you out. You can do that also where you can let the trail be your stop instead of putting your stop below the low of the candle or having a hard stop. You can let the trail be your stop on this also. And you can adjust it to whatever you want to do based upon what size of Renko size you're using. So you can adjust your trail accordingly. Tomorrow when I run market replay, I'll show you how you can adjust that. I'll go the last 30 days and we'll run through the results on as far as that goes. You can have it trade anytime you want it to trade also. If you only want to trade from, let's say, 9:35 to 11, let's say you just wanted to trade from 9:35 when the market opens, New York opens, 9:35 to 11 o'clock. You can do that, and you can have multiple windows of trading. Let's say you only want to trade from 9:35, 11, and you don't want to start trading until noontime. I mean, until lunch hours open, and you want to go 1:30 to 6 o'clock. I mean, to 4 o'clock. Then what it'll do, it will only trade that window. It will only trade that window. Now what it's going to do, it's only going to trade the window that you put in, and it won't take any trades during the other windows that that you do not want to trade. Let's say you don't want to trade the lunch hour. Then you can take that out and customize it as far as that goes. There is a kill switch in this, so you don't trade news. It's just telling you that it's not going to take, and it's not going to initialize a trade. Some of you guys don't want to trade the 8:25 news, 8:30 news. You turn off 5 minutes before 8:25. It won't start looking for trades until 8:35 or 8:33. So then you can make it so you're not trading any news events with the algorithm. It's called like a kill switch for you. You can put that in there also. I just put it to, because you know what news is coming out anyway, based upon forexfactory.com. You should not be trading the markets if you don't know when news is coming out. We look at forexfactory.com, any red impact news, you should not run a strategy until about 3 minutes after the news comes out. So I just put this at 1:30 and 1:31 and just leave it off. But all this other is pre-programmed in for you. We do use the 1-1-100 as our backtested zone. You can change this to a lower level to get more trades. A lot of traders like using the 1-165. I like the 100 because you don't get a lot of setups. So you can customize this as you would like. Your zones can change. My 30-year backtested zones I have built in already for the strategy. So you get everything that I'm going to run on replay tomorrow. You members have that we'll have that on the members download page. So you can, you know what to, you know where to get started at based upon, you don't have to guess what settings should I use and all that stuff. Everything is already programmed for you, and you can see exactly what I run on market replay tomorrow. I'll give you the exact settings, and you can tweak it like how you guys want to tweak it and so on. So for a trade setup, if we're looking for a trade setup, you can see that if this is a 1-135, you can use different trading hours too. So what I like to use, you can use U.S. equities RTH, U.S. equities ETH, the end of the day, and so on. If you only want it to run a certain number of hours in the day, I show you how to do that. We'll go over this tomorrow. This video is getting kind of long, but I'll show you how we can do that too, and so on. Okay, so everything's in the members download page, Sal. Everything's in the members download page on all these settings. So you just go to the members download page, and Gerald has all the settings for you on the members downloads page. Yes, so there's a yellow alert candle on the strategy and the indicator both. Yes, it's for the strategy and the indicator both. So you can just put the indicator in. Let's say, for example, here, let's say we take the strategy out, right? So let's take this and take it off. Let's put the indicator on then. All right, now come into the indicator. Let's just remove everything. Let's take everything off. Let's do a blank chart. Okay, I go to zone reversal. Enter it. So this is already pre-programmed in for you guys. speed here's my alert system on it right here. So there's my alert that's going to give you the alert. You can change it right here, Chris. You can change it to, if you want a beep, change it to 4. You know, you can change to 4 for a beep. I mean, there's different sound settings you can change it to. Change it to 3 for a different sound. You know, a lot of traders like the beep, so they leave it at 4. Come down. Everything else, my zones are already put in. It's automatic program. That's all you do. It's done. It's that easy. You apply, hit OK. It's automatically going to come up with your zones, and it's going to come up with a reversal candle and the arrow. So now you have an indicator that's going to tell you exactly where the strategy would go long or short. You see how it popped up right there for you, Chris? You got your buy zones and your sell zones, plus you got your reversal candle that automatically comes up. It will turn yellow, and it'll give you this green arrow for there. Okay, for sells. You see how right here, the alert will come off right there, Chris. Yep. So the alert will come off here. As soon as this candle closes, that's what's going to beep on your speakers that you have a qualified liquidity grab that is qualified. So you can see where the strategy went long right there, right afterwards. You know, the strategy will do the same thing as the indicator. They'll do the exact same thing. It'll just give you an arrow. That's the upgrade that we did. It gives you the arrow. Okay, it gives you the arrow, and it gives you the yellow trigger candle that it is qualified. Now let's say I want to bring it to a smaller Renko, right? Right. This is a 1135. Let's go down to 1112. Will it still give me the reversal candle with trend? Yes, and it will give you where you're going to be getting in with the strategy also. So now it's a much considerably smaller Renko size. It won't change your trend zone though, because that's static. So let me show you the difference in that in the strategy as far as the, now here it is. Here's a trade that happened yesterday, or the 12 tick trades. Now this is a 12 tick chart, right? So there will not be an ATR unless you use the strategy. Correct, Chris. Because it won't use an ATR until you're filled. But you can run the strategy on Sim. If you're doing chart trader, you can still run it on Sim, and it will run a trail for you. Does that make sense? You can still run it on Sim, and it will show you a Sim entry and a trail if you're using it as an indicator. It will show you the trail if you use the strategy. If you use the indicator is just going to give you this. The indicator is going to give you an audible alert and an arrow when you're at a liquidity grab area. When you're at a liquidity grab area, it will give you a buy and sell zone. If you, whatever Renko size of chart you're using, all right, it's going to give you a yellow reversal candle. So it'll give you a yellow reversal. Now look. Watch this. Here's the difference between a 1112 and a 1135. Here's a great example. Do you see how the 1135 here, Chris, gets you long at this level? It got you long at 83 3/4. Look at the 1112. It got you long at 77 3/4 or 78. That's 5-point difference. That's 20 ticks. Typically, if you use a smaller Renko size, the 1135 likes to show runners. This, you'll typically get off 1 to 2 points before the 1135 kicks in. So when you're looking inside my room right here, and we're right at a pull-in candle right now, if this pulls in, we're typically on the 1112, we're off with 2 contracts already. Yeah, it gives everything about it, manual. It gives all the settings for you. It's very simple. It's very simple. If you put the indicator on here, manual, it's very simple. If you put the indicator on, it's going to give you a yellow candle reversal with zone trend only, with an arrow, with an audible alert. if you add the strategy, all the strategy does, it buys and sells. It buys and sells based upon that close of that candle. Okay, one sec, guys. All right, sorry about that, guys. So you can do it based upon whatever Renko size you want to use, whether you use the indicator or the strategy. So yes, so we have what's called a members download page manual that will go over exactly how to put these in. With the indicator, it's pretty simple. You just put in whatever Renko size you want, and then insert the indicator. We have exactly the parameters that you need, and it'll tell you where the buy and sell zones based upon our trend zones will come up. They'll show you a yellow trigger for the entry, plus they'll show you the exact reversal candle where the market should reverse. Then if you wanted to add a strategy, for example here, if you want, the strategy is going to do exactly the same thing as the indicator. So wherever the indicator comes up, that's where the strategy is going to get filled. So what I'll do is I'll leave in the room for you guys is this, just to show you. What I'll do is this. I'm going to put this in the left-hand corner here. I'm going to put in the indicator. And we'll overlap the indicator on top of this chart here. So you have the yellow trigger that comes up. I'll do that right now so you guys can follow it all week. And you'll see just upon this 1135 where the yellow trigger will come up and give you an alert system that will pop up. I'll enter that right now.